Hey, what's up, Brew Crew? Welcome back to Beer City Board Games. We are closing in on the end of 2024, and one of my favorite things about this time of year is looking back on all of the fun that I had and all the great games that I played. So in this video, I want to take a look back at some of my favorite gaming moments from the past year. 2024 was a year full of highs and lows for us in our personal lives, but I'd say that overall we had a pretty good year. We've spent time watching our kids do activities that they enjoy, got to spend a lot of time with our closest friends, and I've been working on taking my mental health more seriously, which means that overall I've just felt better throughout the year. As far as gaming goes, though, 2024 was a great year for me. I've played so many really good games this year, and there are still a lot that I'd love to play. I think we need to add another day to the weekend or something so I can actually get through all of these games that I want to play. I also attended 3 conventions this year. I was at Origins back in June, at Gen Con in the beginning of August, and at Grand Con at the end of August, beginning of September. And all 3 of those shows were a great experience for me. So, with all of these great games and great conventions, I had a lot to choose from when it came to my favorite moments of the year, but I've narrowed it down to my top 6, and I will say that for all of these memories, it was less about the games that I played and more about the people that I played them with. Okay, let's get started. Number 6 was my first game of Hegemony this year at Origins. Carl, Glenn, and I set this one up and played a game of it, and this game really blew me away in just how thematic it was. We rarely play something that crunchy or that long at a convention, but we set it up and we were just able to squeeze it in before we had to leave for the Jonathan Coulton concert. I also had to get kind of a crash course in how to play because I was pretty late getting to the convention hall that day because I was trying to get the previous day's convention vlog uploaded. I think that part of what made it so great for me was that it reminded me a bit of some of the earlier conventions that I went to where all I had to worry about was playing games all day long, all weekend. And it was just a ton of fun playing it with those guys as well. We all try to play well, but none of us take gaming super seriously, and there's usually plenty of joking around and trash talk going on. And even with longer games, the time really flies by. So that's my number 6, Hegemony at Origins. Number 5 was our first night at Gen Con this year, where Jen and I attended a launch party for River Valley Glassworks thrown by Allplay. Now, I have no delusions of being some big shot content creator. I am fully aware that I am a small fish in a big pond. And normally I wouldn't put an exclusive event on a list like this either, which is why it's down at number 5. But that night was just very surreal for me. We walked into the venue and there were all of these super talented content creators that I've always looked up to. People that I've been watching or listening to since I started gaming. I'll say it was really hard to keep the imposter syndrome at bay that night. But the food was good, and we had some very tasty drinks, and we ended up meeting Jess from the Village Meeple Gaming Cafe out in Missouri. And she taught us all of the Allplay Tiny Box games. They weren't all hits for us, but we had a blast learning them, and we were very appreciative of Jess for making us feel included. So for the amount of fun that we had and the fact that it was the legitest that I have felt so far as a YouTuber, I just had to put it on my list at my number 5. Number 4 on my list of memorable gaming moments from 2024 was another moment from Origins. We went to the Secret Cabal meetup. If you're not familiar, these guys are my favorite board game podcast, and they have some really fun meetups at Origins each year. This year it was held at the Whistle and Keg, which is a cool little bar in Columbus, not far from the convention center, where you can buy cards that you can tap to pour your own drinks from a wall of taps. Very cool, maybe a little dangerous. I definitely had to keep tabs on how much I was pouring so as not to max out my card. But while we were there, we met the wonderful Brett and Laura, and they brought out and taught us Xylotar from Bezier Games. This game is quite the table hog for a trick-taking game, and so here we are, 5 people pushing the bar tables together and trying to fit this card game in the middle of a bunch of rowdy Kabbalists. It was a blast, and I really loved the game also, so much so that I went straight to the Bezier booth and bought it the next day. The rest of the meetup was a lot of fun too, but I'll never forget trying to squeeze that card game onto bar tables. It was such a fun experience, and that's why it's my number 4 memory from 2024. My number 3 gaming experience from 2024 was getting to spend time with the OFPG family at GrandCon. Mick, Starla, and Grant are some of the nicest people that I have ever met, and their personalities are a big part of why I was excited to be a part of their OFPG Voices program. So I was really excited to hear that they'd be coming back to GrandCon in 2024. Now, we didn't get to spend a ton of time together, but we did go to their live show, and I got a chance to participate in that for a minute. And I had a chance to play a couple of games with Mick, like teaching him Pass and trying to finish the game before they kicked us out of the hall on the last day. I wish I had a chance to get a game in with Grant and Starla as well, but I did get a chance to say hi and catch up a bit at least. That whole family is so kind, and they all work so hard to make sure everyone feels like they are welcome. It's something that's really inspired me as I've tried to grow this channel, and I always look forward to being able to hang out with them. Okay, my number 2 experience from 2024 was another moment from GrandCon, and that's learning things in rings. Dwayne from Blackboard Gaming came to Grand Rapids for the show, and he brought Things in Rings with him, and so he taught it to Jen and I, as well as Evan, Missy, and Grayson from their channel, Evan Diesel. If you're not familiar with Rings and Things, it's a really fun party game where you have basically a Venn diagram in the center of the table, but only one of you knows the rules for each of the circles. The rest of you are trying to figure out those rules by placing cards with things on them where you think they should go. I just remember laughing so hard during this game and having so much fun. I really appreciate Dwayne for teaching it, and the fact that he got me to play this game that I probably would have passed on otherwise. Plus, we always have a lot of fun gaming with Evan and Missy, so it really felt like just the right game at just the right moment with just the right people. I guess I don't really know if everyone liked the game itself, but I know that the amount of fun that I was having made the game much less important. All right, time for my number 1 favorite moment from 2024, and this one is a bit of a cheat because it's actually a combination of several moments throughout the year. But when I stopped to think about it, this was by far my number 1. And as cheesy as it sounds, my number 1 experience this year was meeting all of you. There were a few folks who came up to me at conventions to say hi. Now, granted, it wasn't many or that often, but still, meeting you all has without a doubt been the highlight of my year. Thing is, I'm an introvert, and I also have major social anxiety, and so I'm not very good at meeting new people. So if you came up and introduced yourself to me or said hi or said something nice about the channel, I really want you to know how much that means to me. And also, please know that saying that I'm an introvert does not mean that I don't want to be approached or talked to. I love meeting new people. And this has actually been a great way for me to be able to do that with people who share my interest in gaming. And I would say that that also goes for people that I've met online as well. I've had a chance to talk about games with people all over the world, and that thought is just so cool to me. So I'm really grateful for all of you who take the time to watch, like, or comment on my videos. And I'm really hoping that I'll get to meet many more of you in 2025. So there are my top 6 gaming memories from 2024. Now, I'd love to hear what your favorite gaming moment was from this year. Whether that was your favorite game that you played, a convention you attended, or whatever other gaming related memory really stands out to you. I can't wait to read through them all, and here's hoping that 2025 will be another fantastic year for board gaming. And until next time, let's get another round for the table.